All right.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to this week's episode of ClueCon Weekly, sponsored by SignalWire. Before we start, I want to remind you that ClueCon this year is going to be in Chicago in October from October 17th to 20th, and there will be a Friswich training session led by myself on the 21st. So go to ClueCon.com to learn more, and I hope to meet you there. Now, for today's episode, thank you, Joseph Montes, channel manager at VitalPBX, for joining us today.
Sure. It's a pleasure to be here once again. This being my second episode on ClueCon Weekly.
Oh, that's super. Yeah, we try to rotate people. We have friends we like to reinvite because there's always something new going on. For the people who don't
Yeah.
know you yet, would you like to give us a quick introduction about yourself, what you've been doing, how you started, etc., and then we'll go from there. While I
Sure.
get my
Sure.
cat off the desk.
No worries. It's good to see a little feline over here. Um, yeah. Well. Wow. As you can see on screen, my name is Joseph Montes. I work with VitalPBX LLC as channel manager. I started on this business around 10 years ago. Like this is basically as I have mentioned some other times, if you have seen this sort of interviews, this is mostly a family business.
Mhm.
The founders of Battle PBX are all three good friends, being three partners, one of them being my dad. So that's a little bit of influence on how I got into this type of business. Ever since I was little, I've always been around telephones and telecommunication, and um, I then venture into a little bit of network engineering and security. So uh, when I graduated college, that's when Vital PBX was starting. So I've been with the project ever since its inception, overseeing how it has developed over the years, and then um, I became channel manager in 2019, and ever since then I've been a point of contact for all the different customers, partners, and giving some insight on the world of Vital PBX to the rest of the world.
Well, that's amazing. So, do you have a technical background? Are you a developer? Or are you more of a business person? What's your favorite thing to do? Even if you're an engineer, maybe you like sales more. I don't know.
Yeah, well, I'm what you would call a jack of all trades. So I do a little bit of everything. Most of my background is technical, so I get hands on with implementations, configurations, and all of that. Maybe I'm not a programmer myself, but I've done some of the programming as well, and well, in terms of what I like the most, I would say that sales has been a very nice experience. It's very good to speak with the customers, with the partners, to see what their ideas are, and see a little bit of a different environment to what we may think on how a tool is used, or how um, uh, customers or end users behave. So yeah, I would say that if nowadays, I think sales has been a very good venture that I've
Yeah,
gotten into. Yeah.
I've been getting in. Well, I've done sales engineering for a long time, and it's certainly interesting because you get to talk to people, and
Hmm.
there's a lot to go about. So, let us know something about your company, Dan. That sounds very interesting. Looks like I took a look at the website, which, by the way, is vitalpbx.com, and I noticed there's a lot going on there. So maybe you can help us figure out what the offering looks like and where someone should start.
Yeah. So first of all, for those that don't know what Bottle PBX is, we're basically a unified communications PBX system that can be installed anywhere from virtual machines to dedicated hardware or VPS environments on the cloud. So you can have full control of your full environment. And we are based on Asterisk and Linux. So Asterisk is our uh, base tool where we build up from, and then from there we have made all of the different modules that are part of Vital PBX. As I mentioned a little bit on my introduction, um, we the whole team comes from a telephony background. So our team comes from people that have worked with Alcatel, Avaya, Mitel, Cisco. So we're very telephony oriented. So that's a little bit of where we try to focus VitalPBX design on. And so if you look at VitalPBX against the other asterisk based PBX systems, you will see that it's a little bit different because we try to orient ourselves more on the telephony side of things. And from our experience, that sort of world. But that doesn't mean that we're not trying to innovate here and there. Um, so Vital PBX works based on add-ons. So with our add-ons, you can expand what your PBX can do. So we have everything from queues callback to recordings management, a switchboard, um, queue and agent stats. All this with what we call our Sonata suite, and we try to expand on the different features and constantly update Vital PBX throughout. So if you go to our website, as Luca mentioned, vitalpbx.com, you can download Vital PBX, install it, and get to play with it right away. Even all of the commercial modules you can install and everything. So you can have a full hands-on experience with our product. So if you try it out, I hope that you like it, and if you have any questions, you can get back to me. Um, but yeah, that's a little basis of what Vital PBX is. I'm sure that the ClueCon Weekly Signal Wire audience knows pretty much how PBX systems work.
Hmm.
So there's a lot that they can expect from this system, and hopefully, yeah, you can give it a try someday.
Good. So, well, yeah, one thing you mentioned, but it's to make it clear, there is a community edition you can download and use for free with some limitations, which is not, I mean, not too many limitations, honestly, because it's almost full featured, save for, of course, the more complicated models. One thing I was looking at
Yeah.
in particular is your WebRTC client. I'm really interested in that because I've done a lot of work on WebRTC. We recently launched an offering, etc. So I'm very curious, how long ago did you introduce WebRTC? Was it hard? Do you have many customers using it now? Is it the new way we'll be doing telephony from now on?
Yeah, yeah. Well, our WebRTC called Vitsi. Um, it has been an adventure. It has been an adventure. We started this project around 2018, 2019, with the idea of it, and it has had its challenges to make it work the way it works nowadays. Um, but it has been an interesting challenge for us to implement. We believe that WebRTC it's um, a way for us to um, make less installs, make it accessible for the end user to simply log in into a portal and then have their extension and all of their contacts right away from a single place. Um, WebRTC per se, with it, we as I mentioned, we presented various challenges. One of them was the transition from SIP to PJ SIP. Um, with SIP, we were having quite a bit of trouble implementing it. But
Was an
wi-
asterisk only PJ SIP supports, so only the PJ SIP stack supports WebRTC, if I'm not
hmm,
mistaken. So you need to
yeah,
make that switch first. Yeah.
yep. So that's why when we released Vital PBX 3, we made the transition from making SIP the primary technology to PJ SIP, and that has been a very smooth transition. PG SIP is still works with SIP devices, and it hasn't been quite a it hasn't been a hassle to implement PG SIP as the primary technology. But we did have to make that transition. Then in terms of features, we've been optimizing and optimizing the WebRTC client, once again called Vitsi. adding more options for users, like file sharing, screen sharing, and conferencing. Right now, we just released a new update that improves quite a lot the conferencing aspect of the application, allowing you to have from the traditional three-way conference to a multiple user conferencing. I believe that the limit right now has been five, but we're seeing how we can improve the addition of more people, because we make a mix of of PJ-SIP protocol communications with people that are not on VITC, and then people that are on VITC can easily communicate through WebRTC directly. So mixing those channels can be a little bit of a challenge, but the development team has done some wonderful work with the application, and we believe that seeing how much, for example, Teams, Microsoft Teams is being used nowadays.
Mhm.
I believe that WebRTC features are much needed on any PBX system nowadays.
Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah, there's a couple questions there. First of all, how many, if do you have an idea of the percentage of your customers who are using WebRTC now?
Ooh, that's a little bit of a difficult number to place. Um, but I will say that
Let's go
a
for a little
good
or a
number.
lot, just
Yes,
a hunch.
I will say a good number of our of our users are using a WebRTC, given its facility, um, especially the call center sector has fully embraced WebRTC, because Bitsy, our client, has various call center features like log in, log out, pause on pause, allowing you to manage your queues as an agent, and the ability. And nowadays with remote work, uh, uh, it's easier to just log in into a web portal than sending a hardware device to a user, and maybe they do not have Ethernet ports, or maybe you need to send them a model that has Wi-Fi, but
Hmm.
maybe Wi-Fi setup, it's a little bit difficult for certain types of end users. So being able to just log in with your username and password, and then you can place and receive calls directly from there, has been a great use for remote work. And I would say, yeah, that's how a good number of our users have embraced WebRTC.
And you sort of mentioned that, but it's another thing that came up in another episode recently is, are we seeing hardware devices gradually disappear? Like, are we seeing people just use soft phones, just use WebRTC, just use an app on their phone, on their actual phone, instead of having a hardware phone on their desk? I can't really
It's
place that, but sounds like that's been brought up by people. So I'm always asked that to
hmm.
uh, guests from the industry.
Yeah, it's quite a tricky thing, because nowadays everything is an app, everything is is a service. So it's a little bit of a tricky thing, but I don't think hardware devices ever go full linked. It's just that instead of the application being the add-on, it's going to be the hardware device might turn into the add-on, because sometimes
Mm.
it's just too convenient to just have your hardware devices. I do have my hardware phones
Yeah,
still. I have quite a few here, since I make make a lot of testing on our provisioning system.
of course.
So
Yeah.
we test multiple devices at once with the provisioning system that VitalPBX has. And I don't think that they will fully go extinct, but I do think that um, more and more they can turn into secondary devices, into the secondary device rather than the main device,
Mm.
given how powerful some applications can get. Once again, I mentioned Teams. um, as how it has gotten into this world all of a sudden, and we need to adapt to that and try to see how we can fit with that new workflow that a lot of companies are embracing.
Nice. Yeah, there's probably a place for those, but the smaller and nimbler companies are probably going towards the full WebRTC, full
Hmm.
entirely remote route. It's certainly a changing market. So
Yeah.
what else? Yeah, I guess the next question, of course, have you considered using Friswich?
That has been something that we looked into, even once, and this is exclusive insider information. Um, we once thought about having two versions of Vital PBX, one asterisk, one free switch. Um, but uh, the development has been um, has been hyper focused on various features, and every time that we're where we feel that we've reached a calm point in development, there's a new idea with a new big project around the corner. Priorities change. We've One of the biggest features with Vital PBX is multi-tenancy.
Huh?
Is its multi-tenancy feature, and we know that free switch is very good in that aspect, with regards to multi-tenancy. So
Plus,
with
without detracting, it came to mind because without detracting from Asterisk and the great work the Asterisk team has done, I know many of them personally, and it's super great. WebRTC support in Friswich is slightly better. Probably not. It's probably much better actually, because there is no. All of those channels are all first-class citizens, so you don't have to contend with people being on different subclasses. Like one is on PJ, the other is on plain SIP, etc. They all go through the same routes and the all same dial plans, which makes it a little bit easier to cross the boundary between a SIP phone and a WebRTC client. That said, for what you're doing, they're probably equivalent to be super fair. I'm just a fan of Frisbee.
yeah, totally valid, and yeah, the team is constantly looking into those sort of improvements. And I never discard any possibilities in the future. Who knows? Um, but even at some point, we considered on creating our own application, given some very specific needs that we had. But we worked around them, and in creating our own telephony application on that level can be quite development taxing. But yeah, we're constantly looking into making improvements. For example, another insider exclusive uh, for our viewers. Right now, we're looking into releasing this month a new
Mhm.
version of Vital PBX, being version 4, which is based on Debian rather than CentOS. Currently, we're using CentOS 7, and CentOS 7 is coming to an end of life pretty soon. We already saw with CentOS 8 how that died, and
Oh yeah.
so we started working. We started working on a Debian version of Vital PBX quite soon after the that announcement, and right now we're planning on releasing version 4, which will be Debian based. Uh, so that's just one example of how we try to see what's the best for the project, and who knows, maybe in the future there can also be a free switch version of Vital PBX.
Well, if you ever go that route, let us know. We'll be super happy to help out. It's always interesting to work with various teams, etc. Yeah, the CentOS transition wasn't great for a lot of people. Did you have a lot of trouble with that? Because CentOS end of lives are always weird because CentOS is such a long life cycle. Then
Hmm.
when something gets end of life, it's old. It's really old. Like it's sometimes some packages don't even exist anymore. when you're
Yeah.
switching majors. Was that very hard on your team? Just curious, because we tried to talk about open source from any angle. So distributions, end of lifing versions is part of it very often.
Yep. Yep. Once again, it's everything we try to do. It's always a challenge,
Mhm.
especially with certain dependencies and how they fixated. For example, um, one of the biggest challenges I think that we had with the Debian transition was we got a little bit excited with it, and not only this is a transition to Debian, we're also um, adding the capabilities for us to support ARM processors as well. Um, and that certainly was a challenge because we now need to consider not only the Debian dependencies, we also have to consider the ARM based dependencies, and that has been the bulk of the work, trying to get all of that organized, see that the modules work correctly, that we're able to have all of the Apache, all of the firewall rules, all of the intrusion detection, fail to ban, working correctly on that transition. And now with the support of ARM, that has been the bulk of the work. But now that we have had that fully tackled, um, our latest big test was installing VitalPBX on our Raspberry Pi 4, just
Wow.
to check that out. And we have been successful. Made 100 concurrent calls on that little thing. Um, so yeah, that has been the bulk of the bulk of the work. And but we're glad that that part is it's basically over, and right
Oh
now we
yeah.
can concentrate on now improving and porting the new features for version 4.
The do you have many people actually running Raspberries? Like do you know if your customers actually do it? Because I've seen people running Friswich in production, as in for their own PBX, small stuff, not too many.
Incredibly, there is a demand for Raspberry installations, especially for people that do installations for very specific markets, like certain doctors' offices, certain small law firms will require for an on-premise installation, and sometimes using a full-blown server or a full-blown um, tower for a 5 extension, a 10 extension location is not something that makes a lot of sense. That's too much horse for the type of writing that those sort of offices might need, and sometimes they basically do not have the space for
Yeah.
for a server. So having this a little machine can do, and we will be releasing some videos on our concurrent call testing that can do 100 concurrent calls. It's
Oh, well, that's
it's
not too
quite a
bad.
bit. Yeah, with the Raspberry Pi 4, 4 gigabytes of RAM, we were able to pull those numbers with the new version of Vital PBX, and that'll be a project for a lot of enthusiasts and a lot of uh, integrators that will definitely want to do small installations on various small business markets.
That's yeah. The I think that that's another trend that I'm seeing, is that people are more and more running smaller services and smaller systems. Like PBXs used to be for large offices, like you had 20 people,
Hmm.
you want a PBX because otherwise you're not placing call. Nowadays you're seeing people with three people in the office, and maybe someone was out there remote running a PBX because it's just so convenient. It's
Yep.
why bother with having to remember phone numbers? Even just that, just the
Yeah, correct, and also it's become a convenience, and something that we're used to. We're used to calling a place and having an IVR. We're used to calling a place and being sent to a voicemail. And small businesses that used to just have for all their employees have found that that can be a hassle. And now services like multi-tenant systems or cloud PBXs, or small installations like Raspberry Pi, small server on-premise installations have become quite a commodity, because nowadays you do not pay those enormous prices of PBXs. I know that Alcatel systems or Avaya systems can go for the tens of thousands, even for small installations. While you can buy a Raspberry Pi with all of the kit for $100, and then you have Friswich or VitalPBX, which are affordable to give them a price. Um, it's it it's too convenient to not consider paying for your small business.
sure. Yeah, the many things going on at the moment, but I feel like we're seeing a resurgence. Well, I don't know if you share my view, but PBXs were sort of on the low ground for a while. Then COVID came, people started figuring out, but that helped. We got rid of a lot of old style dinosaur vendors,
Yep.
and now there's newer stuff. It's more technically inclined. It has a lot of more, has a lot of more features than they used to have. I feel like sometimes it's good to clear out the market. I don't know how to say that otherwise. So it is it's certainly an interesting time. Well, I hear you're going to be at IT Expo, right?
Yeah. We're going to be in IT Expo this month, from the 21st to the 24th, if I recall correctly. I need to check my calendar on that, but I believe that those are the dates for IT Expo this year.
Be correct. Yeah.
June 21st to the 24th, and
Gonna be
yeah,
in Fort Lauderdale, and I'll be
for
there too. And there's a Friswich training there too, if anybody's interested. But more importantly,
hmm.
people can come and chat with Joseph and myself, and we'll be all be there. It's good to be back in person, at least.
Oh yeah. It's always good to see people's faces that you only see them on emails, or hear them on through the phone, or do video meetings with. This will be our fourth or fifth ITX we're attending to.
Oh
As
yeah, being there forever. I don't even remember.
Yeah, yeah. This is our like our fourth or fifth that we're attending to as um
Vital
uh
PBX.
yeah, as Battle PBX, and as I forgot the name of it. We will at the show floor.
Mhm.
Um, this is our fifth time doing that. Prior to that, we have attended as our own meetings, and um
Yeah,
as
it's sort of an
uh,
interesting show. It feels like an
yeah.
old style trade show, but a lot of people from the very technical community show up. So I always
Mhm.
get interesting conversations with people like you and others from the space. It's a hybrid that always works. Plus, it's in Fort Lauderdale, which helps.
Yeah. It never gets far from home for me. Always on the Florida side of things, and yeah, we always enjoy doing IT Expo. We like to re-meet with the same people we see each year. Um, have a little bit of catch up with a lot of them, and then you get to meet new people that bring interesting ideas to the table, and you certainly have business
Yeah.
opportunity there, as well as technical opportunity, because yeah, you never know what sort of ideas come from. And especially we here at Vital PBX, some more insider information. Um, we since our team is distributed among multiple countries. So we are here in the States. Then we also have offices down in Honduras, Nicaragua, Panama. Uh, we bring people from all of those branches to this expo, and we take advantage of it, not just to be at the expo, but to have some in-person meetings and idea developments um, for
Yeah.
future implementations of Vital PBX. That's how the multi-tenant idea came from. That's how the another new product that we're releasing. It's a dialer, a progressive dialer. That's also where it came from those late night hotel
Well,
meetings with
it
a
has to
little
be
bit of
said that poolside conversations in Florida have a different feeling than conversing on a frozen on a frozen walkway somewhere on the East Coast, right? So it's always great. So yeah,
yeah.
come meet us at IT Expo. Just a reminder, we have Friswich training there too, so hit me up if you're interested. But more than that, I hope to see you and you, Joseph, even at ClueCon in October. We're doing a sort of a grand reopening after a hybrid version of last year. This year is going to be very fun. So if you'd like to join us, let me know. Maybe submit there. I think the call for papers is still open, or at least we can take a look. And anyways, we'll meet in Florida for now.
Yeah. I'll speak with my team to see what we can do there for October. To see if they do not have any other plans at the moment. But yeah, I hope to see you here in a couple of weeks.
Well, so thank
Great.
you very
All right.
much for joining us today, Joseph. It was a pleasure chatting with you. Went through a lot of the industry talks. We found out what Vital PBX is, what it does, etc. It was super interesting. So Joseph Montes, channel manager at Vital PBX, was with us today, and thank you, Joseph, for joining us.
Yeah, sure. It's always a pleasure. Great speaking with you.
And for all of the audience, I'll see you on the next episode. Bye.